It is. It's 6:40.
5:40.
I mean 5:40. I'm sorry. Begin the meeting. Let's start with a adoption of the agenda. Anyone wants?
President, I will never adopt the agenda as written.
Okay.
Mr. President, I have a motion.
Well, we got one already started.
Just a question.
Do you have a second?
Mr. President, I'd like to withdraw my motion.
Right. It's withdrawn. I hear a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda.
Sticking to.
Mr. President, I'd like to move to amend the agenda to include subsections 2, real estate, 12 for contract negotiations, 9 for collective bargaining to the closed session agenda. Subsections 2, real estate, subsection 12, contract negotiations, subsection 9, collective bargaining. Under closed session.
Oh. Oh. Part 2. Okay. So you want to add 2?
2, 12, and 9.
We got a second. Second? We have a second?
A second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? No discussion. All right. The motion is to approve the amended agenda with closed sections, items added to 3.0, including sections 2, 12, and 9 of the Missouri RSO. Let's have a vote.
I'll do a roll call vote. Erin Kendrick. Aye. Lisa Watry. Deron McGee.
Aye.
Jimmy Carter.
Aye.
Ian Bruman.
Aye.
Harold Graves. And Byron Townsend.
Aye.
I'm not sure if Ms. Graves is Ms. Graves, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. There's a motion on the floor to adopt the amended agenda. Added to section 3 is sections 2, 12, and 9 of the Missouri RSO. So is your vote yes or no?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay.
We need your vote on the agenda.
Okay. Are you talking to me?
Yes, Ms. Graves.
Yes. YES.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. The motion passes 6-0. All right. Now, I need a motion to go into closed session.
Mr. President, I move we go into closed session
So,
pursuant to closed session 610.021, 1, 3, and 13 RSMO, 2, 12, and 9.
can I have a second? Second.
I second.
Been moved and seconded to go into closed session pursuant to, 610.021, sections 1, 2, 3, 9, 12, and 13 of Missouri, of the revised Missouri statute. Can we have a vote? Roll call vote.
Director Grace? We're gonna move on, but she can't direct. Director Kendrick? Aye. Director McGee?
Aye.
Director Coleman? Aye. Director Carter? Aye. And Director Washer?
Abstain.
Watch your step. 6-0. 6-0. All right, we're going to, the motion passed, we're going into closed session.
You want to log out of,
You don't have, yep, just leave it open and you're good to go. Just leave your laptops unless you want to take it with you, but.
Is there another? Is there another?
my laptop? I don't want to take it up.
Is there another Zoom? Is there another Zoom meeting?
No, we only got 30 minutes. I don't know. What happens at the end? That's the mark we got to get the meeting over. No, Lakers are done, so basketball's over with, so.
Not a TV fan.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you still logged into that, Mr. Cecil?
Yes, I am.
All right, good. Good, good.
Right, all right, yep.
But see, you can use a mouse with your elbow, do you? It feels different. Yeah, I know the tracker is different, and you got a button you gotta push. I think it's the silver stuff over it. I think it's the
No.
I don't like that pillow. So it's like, okay. I said, yeah. I do like that this Fitbit, I always want to get a text message, because otherwise I don't know. I'm like,
Come on, hit the gavel.
Wow. Say we're going in the break.
You can't give them
You can't put barbecue in front of people's faces and expect them not to eat it.
Look, I had a whole
I
hour back there.
know, I just definitely.
That's true. I'm doing it. I'm here right at the excuse.
They wouldn't have been talking so much, they would have made so hungry.
Right. Yeah.
I blame it on April's good cooking.
Man, nobody knows. I told you. My bad. Everybody giving him, I'm giving him. I know. She's as hard as good. I said the third.
Yeah.
So it would be nice. Two games going on at the same time. Come on. You agree to whatever you're gonna say. Carter, we already agreed that whatever you're gonna say in closed session, we agreed to it.
All right, back in open session, yeah, approval of minutes. Approval of minutes.
Sorry?
We're back in session
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
I know this.
at 7 o'clock.
All right.
And, Mr. Thompson, if you wouldn't mind doing the roll call to go back in the open. Just an attendance roll call.
Director Kendrick? We're doing roll call. Director Kendrick?
Present.
Director Watry?
Present.
Director Carter?
Present.
Director Coleman?
Present.
Director McGee? Director Graves? And Director Townsend?
Okay, yeah, we got one, we're back in the session. Approval of the minutes. Everyone read the minutes?
Yes.
Anybody in disagreement with minutes? These new minutes?
President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. As printed, is there any discussion? Seeing none. Is there any disagreement with the minutes? All right, the minutes are approved by consensus. All right, audience comments. Do we have any audience comments?
We do not have any audience comments today.
No audience comments. Now 6.0 superintendent's comments.
Can you hear me? Testing. Okay. Okay. Thank you, President Townsend. I wanted to start off superintendent comments with recognizing that our district is recognizing Pride Month this month. We want to give good support and encouragement to all our staff, students, and family members out there who are recognizing the month. And look forward to seeing everyone back safely after the summer. We do have a culminating activity for the end of the year, and this is the year in review. And in the interest of time, we're going to go through the highlights and just let people know that it will be posted on our board site so people can go on and review it. Also, just the staff and community members out there, we're not trying to capture everything that happened this year, so we know there'll be some significant items that you may not see in this presentation, and that's just the cost of doing business. We can't capture everything all at once. So let me start off, get this off the screen. All right. We're starting with nice graphic for our students, and then the next slide, I'm going to move on to, we're going to talk about achievement, which is part of our future we want to achieve. And it's considerable accomplishments around achievement, but I would ask Ms. Rowe to come to the podium to speak to these slides.
Good evening. Good evening, board. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm going to share a few examples of some of the high achievement that we've seen this year. So we have a final dollar amount. I feel like I need a drum roll, but our students are obviously amazing. $2.8 million in scholarships from the class of 2021, which is an increase over last year. We were able to hire, as part of our real world learning initiative, 18 summer interns. So these are Ruskin High School students, mostly freshmen and sophomores, a couple others, but we were very surprised by the number of young students that we had, and they are working in our summer school program and getting paid to do it. We did our first round of feedback on Friday, and the teachers raved about having their support. You can see there's also a little picture just celebrating our spelling bee champions that we had during the school year as well, 2 elementary and 1 middle school students, so awesome spellers. First Lego League, we did a presentation earlier, but that's certainly an accomplishment. And we also had students who were a part of the winning design there on the right-hand side. That mural for the KC STEM Alliance is going to be painted on the side of the building down on Troost across from UMKC, and our students had a part in designing that. And lastly, we have a total of 20 students who earned the KC Scholars Scholarship. 16 of those have $50,000 towards post-secondary in their pocket as juniors. We shared last board meeting some of the exciting new programs that we have, and so we've been working diligently to get those up and running and are excited about opportunities at Burke to really share some innovative new programs. Super excited to launch Performing Arts Academy at Ruskin for our students who are really interested in being on stage or working behind stage. And lastly, before I turn it over to Ms. Franklin, the next slide, we got big news this week. We are one of 17 school districts in the entire country that was awarded a Project Lead the Way Distinguished District.
So we're very proud of that, and super, super proud of our teachers and administrators for really embracing it. They're the ones who are doing it, and they're doing it with fidelity, and kids are enjoying that STEAM instruction. So great stuff.
Right, good evening, everyone. I'll go ahead and pick up from here. This next achievement is related to our teachers and our students. We had 150 teachers attended 277 connector sessions, and these are sessions that will connect our students with industry professionals and introduce our students to professions and introduce our students to different careers. And so we really appreciate that part of the aspect of our college and career readiness for our students, and that's all of our elementary and middle school students. And then we also earned top district winner in the Prep KC Math Relay. So that means our students showed up on a Saturday to participate in a variety of different math activities, and our district was the top district winner. So I'm really proud of that. Absolutely. And then our next achievement, of course, we have to recognize our proud graduates, and that would be our youngest graduates, our young graduates, I should say, because these are kindergartners going into first grade. And that is a big accomplishment, and also our graduating seniors, of course. And then moving into professional development, because that's also something that we like to celebrate. So Hickman Mills has been recognized for our DCI, which is our District Continuous Improvement Partnership with the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. And so this graphic that you see here really displays our journey as a district for the past few years. And this is also included in all of their literature that's been shared throughout the state. So our recognition is being shared with other districts in Missouri. And then our next professional development achievement, can you scroll up just a little bit? Okay. All right, and this one is really recognizing our teachers, because our teachers really stepped up. They've always been great, but during COVID especially, we really saw them shine in spite of the circumstances. And so this first picture is a picture of our third grade teachers presenting to the principals and talking about the SIPS program, which is really focused on systematic instruction and phonological awareness, phonics, and sight words. And so they were sharing information with principals about what that instruction looks like and the progress that they've made. And then this other picture over here is really showing that we did over 200 classroom observations. Even though we were virtual, we still were able to go and observe in classrooms virtually. And as you can see, even as we transitioned into our hybrid schedule, we were still able to continue to conduct walkthroughs in classrooms with teachers and provide teachers with feedback and allow teachers to provide us with information about the instruction that they've been providing. So a lot going on, a lot to be proud of with our staff and our students. And next, I'll turn it over to Mr. Clapmeyer.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Franklin. Good evening, Board of Directors. Just a couple slides related to our staff culture. We are lucky to have amazing classified and certified staff that serve our students and families every day. And part of the key component of that is keeping them happy, making sure that Hickman Mills is a workplace that people want to be at. Last year, we began administering what is called the Pulse Survey. So right now, our certified staff are taking that on a 3-week cycle, which gives us real-time data about how they feel about the workplace. So whether that's relationships with their supervisor, with colleagues, their job satisfaction, whether they're happy in terms of the role that they're playing in the district. And it classified those in 8 pillars that I have on the slide. And the goal for us as an employer is to have all of those 8 pillars in green. And to achieve green, you need a 7.5 out of 10. And you can see on there, currently we ended the year with 5 of our 8 pillars on green and the other ones all in the 7s. This is for district, and also our building leaders access us real time to see how their staff is feeling so they can address that directly. The next slide deals with some of the key components that the board's been very involved in this spring related to making significant investments in our salaries. This has been the primary reason for many years that we lost some great staff members to other districts in the metropolitan area. The Board of Education committed this spring in a collective bargaining process to multi-year agreements with all of our bargaining units so that there is some security in staff in terms of raises and income for the next couple years. We made great progress in terms of our ranking and starting and maximum salaries in the metro area, because the most important thing is keeping the best people for the ultimate purpose, the students in our classroom every day. So great things happening this year around our staff, climate, and culture. Thank you.
Good evening, directors. So what you are looking at right here is our e-newsletters, which we launched at the beginning of the school year in each of our schools and relaunched our district newsletter. So what we heard from parents was that they were getting information from a lot of different sources and it looked different. So we wanted to make things look similar. So each school, while it is unique with their colors, it follows the same formula so parents know where to turn to get their information. And it looks similar to the newsletter that they're getting district-wide every month as well. And then next you will see the Around the Mill Insider, which hopefully you all received in your mailboxes. This is the first time in more than 8 years that we have sent a mailer home to all 26,000 plus people in our school district. So one of the challenges that we've had is that people who don't have kids in our district have no idea of all the good things that are happening in our district. They may only hear about what's on the news. So this was our opportunity to present them with these fabulous things that are happening, including what their money is going to with the bond. So this is the first of what we hope will be many going forward in the future. And then lastly, the Above and Beyond Award, which Mr. Obeng started at the beginning of this year, even during the pandemic. So he recognized four students who got various awards, a MacBook, a little cash. And these students really are outstanding students in our district who are achieving academically, but doing above in their schools and in their communities. So we wanted to recognize those people. And these students, when we post this to social media, these are by far some of our most popular posts that the community is seeing. So this is another way for us to tell our story in our way. Thank you.
Good evening. Also, we implemented several new programs this year, 2 of which, BAM and WOW, Becoming a Man, Working on Womanhood. These are national programs that are in Boston, Chicago, Los Angeles, and now Kansas City. We have a group working with Smith Hill, and we have a group working at Ruskin, and this is a 5-year commitment, and this is year 1, and it's been a great start, and we're looking forward to more achievements next year. Also, if you notice with the student services, you'll notice on your mailer, you saw Dr. Song, you saw Ms. Gash. Those are 2 of our educators that were recognized by different organizations throughout the year. We had our EL students with our newcomers that came every Monday and Tuesday from September all the way until we came back in hybrid. We had our teachers, interpreters that are working with them. We had childcare for our students, for essential workers every day, Monday through Friday that we were in session. We kept going with our co-teaching. We implemented new co-teaching this year. And of course, in the center of that, you see our COVID vaccinations. We partnered with Truman Medical Center, and we provided COVID vaccinations for all of our staff.
One of the highlights for the operations area was during the red status during the pandemic. We certainly continued to still serve meals to our families, and that was a big highlight for us. As over 387,000 meals were served during that red status, and hopefully some of you got to see those fresh harvest boxes. They're pictured here. They're just incredible. Fresh fruit and vegetables, as well as meat and dairy. So it was incredible for our families to have during that time period when things were really hard to get for a lot of our families. And this was all for virtual learners, hybrid learners, and even in-person learners, some that we did have. During the yellow status, we did the same. We continued on with that process, and we had almost 70,000 meals that we did from March 15th to May 28th. So during this time period of the pandemic, we over 425,000 meals that we served our kids and our families. So real proud of that with our folks.
Okay. And we ended also, just as I can, slight clip of some of our students before we. Can you hear that? Is that coming through? We'll have to unmute.
No.
Sorry. We'll have to unmute.
Okay. Can you hear? I don't know if it's coming through. Oh, he's not. Okay. Okay.
All right, in the interest of time, I'll stop there. As I said, it is me.
So the actual sound of the device, and then if you stop sharing and reshare, it should prompt you for to share.
Stop sharing and reshare?
Yeah, stop sharing and then reshare, and then when you reshare, it should prompt you to share sound as well. I'm going to mute the podium, and then.
Show the video to students at the end. We'll do that. So we'll include there, and
It'll be on there.
It'll be on the website. We'll post it up on the website. So. Yes, thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I thought it was important to capture all the things that happened this year because it was an extraordinary year, and we have representation from all our departments in terms of what happened this year. So, as I said earlier, it's not a reflection of everything, but it is a reflection of some highlights. But I would encourage people to go onto our website, review the video, and also there are other acknowledgements on our site as well too. So thank you for taking the time to receive that, and we'll share it through our website for others who didn't get an opportunity.
Thank you. All right, we've come to 7.0 consent agenda, consent items. Can I get a motion to accept the consent items?
Mr. President, I move that we accept the consent items.
Okay, second. Second. All right, it's been moved and second to accept the consent items. Let's have a roll call vote on this.
Director Kendrick? Aye. Director Lawtree?
Aye.
Director McGee?
Aye.
Director Carter?
Aye.
Director Coleman?
Aye.
Director Graves? Director Townsend?
Aye. All right, passes, motion passes 6-0. Okay, motion passes 7-0. Ms. Reyes, aye. All right, we're down to new business, bond update.
Okay, with us tonight on Zoom is Marquise Canyon from Universal Construction, and Marquise, go ahead. And if you guys will bring up the bond update, if you would, the slides. Should be down towards the bottom. Yeah, 8.1. There you go. 8.1. 8.1? Yeah. Yes.
Sorry.
Marquise, can you see that?
Yes, sir, I can.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So package 1 and 2, or package 1, there's no change, and that's complete, which was the asphalt projects over the fall. Packages 2 and 3 came in right at budget, and there are no change orders at this particular point. And so our current GMP for packages 2 and 3 is $21,693,645, and we currently have a little over $1 million in work installed at this point. Next slide, please. So we've started demolition. We were able to get in some areas as abatement was going on throughout the district and kind of take advantage of the spaces that they were not going to be working in. So this is a photograph of the Ruskin Auditorium. What you're looking at here inside the theater, we have all of the non-asbestos material removed from the auditorium and ready for construction. We're approximately 95% complete on the demolition in that space. Next slide, please. And this is, this is kind of a similar picture throughout the high school and corridors that we have to touch in the admin office spaces where the asbestos contractor is in and getting it cleaned up and mitigating that hazard. Next slide, please. I didn't want to show you any photos of actually inside the restrooms. They're a little banged up right now. So what we did is we pulled all of the toilet compartments and things out. And so I just wanted to show you over at Burke, we've started there, and we're salvaging all of the things because the district just paid for those items on its last bond issue. Next slide, please. At Warford, asbestos is working. We're getting that out and cleaning it up so that we can get in and start to remodel that area as well. Next, please. Dobbs, same thing. We've gotten in and we're a bit further ahead there. We've started to saw cut the floor in the restrooms and starting to try and cut and cap and build back certain plumbing areas that we were supposed to fix by design. Next, please. Ingalls, a lot of site work going on there. So we've removed, if anyone has driven by there at one point, there was a massive pile of concrete sitting around that we've gotten disposed, and we've gotten the storm lines in for the playgrounds, and so we're just continuing there to push while we have advantage of the good weather. Irvin, we are all but done with the site work there. We have some concrete work to do and then onto the playgrounds. This is on the back side of the playground there where we've trenched and got all the storm drainage in to help mitigate the water that's coming off that hill from the residential properties. Okay, and so construction, I wanted to talk to the board about the supply chain. So as everyone knows, we're in unprecedented times, and construction's never seen COVID before. So it's important to note that material lead times are extending, and it's an industry-wide issue across all of the entire industry. And so with that being said, for example, tile, for example, ceramic tile, there was a point, last year we could get ceramic tile in 2 to 4 weeks. But, as of when I did this slide, I couldn't get ceramic tile for 10 weeks. And in situations like that, we are working diligently and continually to press on our trade partners and find out from them, what items that's happening to, that are potentially at risk for us. And we turn around and we have been working with the design team, and Hollis & Miller has been great about responding very quickly with alternative solutions that still provides the district with the same quality of material there. And then sometimes there are alternate methods that we can do in terms of fill fabrication. So an example of that, acoustical panels. At one point, acoustical panels we would be able to get in 6 weeks. We've gotten word that the contractor is saying that it's going to be 7 months. And so one of those things, and we kind of had an issue on another project, that what we did was we fill fabricated those panels. And Hollis & Miller is familiar with that method. And so this is something that we would explore should we come into that issue as well. And then at least twice a week, material is increasing. And so simple things like metal studs, we used to be able to get metal studs in a matter of a couple of days, and now it's a 5-week lead time in order to get it. And that's something 20 gauge steel that you could get from a place like Lowe's or Home Depot, but now their shelves are empty of it. And then we have, fire treated plywood. We would be able to purchase it for, $50, $60 a sheet, and now it's turning to $150 a sheet. And so we're trying to mitigate those issues. And again, the design team has been very gracious and great at helping to provide solutions there. And so I just wanted to make sure that I put this out front to the district and let you know that we are working through those issues to ensure that we give you the best quality product for come August.
And Marquise, I want to jump in here. I just want to tell the board and make them, and I appreciate Marquise talking about this. This is a major issue across the entire country. This is not just Hickman Mills issue. This is all everywhere. Cars, student desks, carpet, you name it, you can't get it, or it's very hard to get. So please understand, I belong to a group of guys and gals that do the exact same thing I do in 22 districts around the area. And we all were on a Zoom 2 days ago. Every single one of them have the exact same conversation with all of them. The Shawnee Mission School District, my colleague there, Dr. Atha, they have a $232 million bond, and they literally cannot get supplies to fulfill that bond project. We're not alone in this. Everyone is feeling this pain. So I wanted to put this in front of the board now to please understand, we are going to have delays. We're going to have delays because we can't get the material. We can't get, that's a major issue. So some of it's sitting in, because of the freezes that happened in Texas, they're holding on to all the galvanized from the copper piping. So we can't get that. So, there's just all kinds of scenarios that are playing out to here. I ordered a desk and a chair for a new colleague, and that desk and chair would take usually 4 days for me to get. It's now going to take 7 weeks. It's just unbelievable. And so please understand that this is going to be something we're going to have to work with. This COVID materials issue is something we're just going to continue to grow and live with a little bit. So next slide, please.
All right, now we're to the fun part, at least the fun part for me. What we have, I think last month I told the board that I would show all of the MBE, WEB participation, who those contractors were and what their amounts were. And so out of, I believe there's 8 contractors here. So we had 9 MBE firms. Out of those 9 MBE firms that bid Hickman's projects, 8 of them were awarded. And they were the best bids. There was nothing special that we needed to do, or no special approvals that the board had to do for these contractors to perform the work, and they are qualified to work on your projects. Next slide, please. So at bid package 1, I told the board and the community I was satisfied with the 7.75%, but I was not satisfied. I was okay with it, but I wasn't satisfied, and we would push to increase that. And my message all along has been, once we get into the building of things, you'll see a drastic increase in participation. So out of the 21 million that is our current GMP, 3.7 million of that is going to MBE firms, which is 17.44%. Of that, and then out of that same 21 million, 2.9 million is going to WBE firms, which is 13.4%. And so the overall participation of diverse firms, MBE, WBE, is 30.8%. So we're at, just call it 31%, in my opinion, of overall participation for the district. And I'm excited about that, because the contractors that showed up, they don't have small dollar amounts. They are doing major work for the district. And I believe that's my last slide. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I have a question, Mr. President. So when you were talking about the I don't know if Mr. Wheatley, you can answer this, the delays, how does that affect and translate not only to getting the materials, but how does that relate into cost? Because I'm assuming that if everybody's trying to get the same products, that means the costs are going to rise. So how does that raise not only into delays of the project, but overages?
Marquise, you want to answer that?
Yes. So there's, in terms of cost, not all materials are increasing in cost. There are some things there, and we do have a portion of there's some things that we can cover via the GMP, but if a material comes in terms of delay, what that looks like is we try and turn around and find out how long that lead time is on that material, and then the follow-up to that is there something alternate, an alternative material with the same qualities that we can utilize to still fulfill the district's need, that won't be any lack of performance, maybe locally. And so we found some of those things. So at this point, we're still in pretty good shape. We're not where I thought we would wholeheartedly be, but that's a everyday thing in terms of trying to figure out what's delayed, when, what we can do to mitigate it. And we just every day we figure that out as a new product shows up.
I will say also that we do build contingencies within the entire project. So please understand that we kind of build that into the projects, knowing that whether it was COVID or not, we build a contingency percentage within that. And just for the unforeseens that do occur, and then things like this that obviously are occurring right now.
Thank you. One last question. Is there any projects that you could foresee that might keep our students out of the buildings?
I think it's too early to say that right now. I'll give updates as we progress. Obviously we're in demolition and asbestos removal now, and that's going very, very well and very quickly. So, no issues right now. So I think the farther along we get, I'll continue to provide Mr. Obeng an update, and then he'll provide the board an update about how if that's going to occur or how that's going to occur. So I think it's too early to say that right now. Thank you.
preliminary budgets and salary charts. Has everyone had a chance to look at those? We need some action on that, so we have a motion. When do we approve it? There's been a motion to approve the preliminary budget and salary charts. We need a second.
I second.
Director McGee. All right, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the preliminary budget and salary charts. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, are we ready to vote? Okay. Is there any one against the approval of the salary charts? Preliminary budget. Anyone against? Seeing no one against, it's approved by consensus.
President Thompson, can I make one comment? Just in the interest of time, we're not going to go through it, but I did want the board to, can you just open that preliminary budget just for a quick second? I did want the board to see that, and I'm talking with our director of finance, I think we've hit a milestone here. Just go right to the last page.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've been able to secure our fund balance. Look, number 7, please. Slide 7. No, slide 8, maybe.
Yeah, it's slide 8.
You know, we did share a month ago around our financial system management, and you know, we're trying to go between 14 to 16% in order to do investments. And currently, right now, we've hit 29.3% in our fund balance. And I think that's thanks to the that's to the good work of our finance office and also the stewardship of managing the dollars. Now, I do want to caution board members, when you see this next year, as we start to spend the dollars, it will decrease down because we haven't actually implemented the actions in terms of the dollars we have. But I think it is quite a milestone. It gives us a foundation now to start looking at investing into our students and our staff, and also strategically around closing the gap and ensuring that our students achieve and therefore going to full information. So I do want to acknowledge the work that's gone into this, and it's a bit of a milestone. And thank you for approving this. And we'll come back in the new year and you'll see some of the actions that are being taken because of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent. All right, Casey.
All right. Good evening, Mr. President, member of the Board of Directors. I'm here presenting on the recommendation from the superintendent to approve the 2-year agreement with the AFT unit. The board, in closed session during our collective bargaining conversations, has been kept aware of our negotiations, and on June 1st, we came to an agreement with that unit on a 2-year agreement for the 2021, 2022, 2023 school year. Part of that, with no language change in our agreement, the key component was the salary, with 1.5% salary increases for members of the custodial and secretarial units over the next 2 years, along with the step increase each year, and then raising our paraprofessional starting salary on that scale from $12.99 to $16 an hour starting this year, and $16.50 the following year. The recommendation is to approve. It has been ratified by the organization.
I move to approve the recommendation from the superintendent to approve the union agreement with the AT.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the collective bargain agreement with AFT for the 21 through 2023 school years. Is there any discussion?
Casey, does this make, with this agreement, does this now make us the highest paying school district for peers and
It moves us up significantly. There are a couple that start a little bit higher, but if you had a chance to look at the salary chart that was just approved, literally for some of our paras, it's a $3,000 to $4,000 increase over the next 2 years of what they're making right now. Yeah, so
I was just
significant.
wondering, compared to other districts, I didn't know if we would be where that ranks us now. So I know before we were one of the lowest.
We were $12.99 was one of the lowest. I don't think $16 makes the top, but it makes us one of the top 5.
Okay.
Yes, I know that for sure.
Casey, can you tell me how many vacancies we have open for those positions right now?
Paraprofessionals, we're actually doing some work around paraprofessional allotments. We have quite a few. We will be advertising the salary change in the Martin City Telegraph. We've been working with the PIO office to get the word out of our starting salary for next school year. So we're making a big deal. But we are doing some realignment in terms of our paraprofessional allotments to make sure we're serving students the best when we're working with our student services department on that piece.
I commend you guys on this agreement, and we're open for business.
That's right. Absolutely.
Casey, I do want to follow up too. How many of our paraprofessionals are actually certified, or percentage of them?
Well, we don't track in terms of certified to the basic qualifications because the funding that they're paid out of is that they at least have 60 hours of college credit or they have passed the parapraxis exam. So that's the minimum qualifier in order to be highly qualified paraprofessional.
Right, but I guess I was assuming that the exam was a certification. Is that not the case?
Not in terms of the state. That meets the federal highly qualified standard if they pass that test or if they have 60 hours of college credit.
Okay.
That's a federal standard that's set.
Thank you.
Do a little plug for buildings and grounds and custodial staff as well too. We are looking for staff as well too. So as we launch our new salaries coming this fall, I'm hoping community members out there take note of the salary increases around some of the positions and they look to work with everything else.
Yes.
So maybe if I don't get an opportunity to thank you, Mr. Potmeyer, for all the background work you've done and work with all our partners and school teams in order to put things in alignment. So I think we're in the right direction. So thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Any more discussion or comments? Let's take a roll call vote on this.
Director Kendrick? Director Washington?
Aye.
Director McGee?
Aye.
Director Carter?
Aye.
Director Coleman?
Aye.
Director Griggs?
Aye.
Director Townsend?
Aye.
Thank you, board.
That's 7-0. Okay. Item 8.4, reading of revision of policy BDA. Okay, there was some discussions left.
Did you want me to present that?
Sure. Yes.
So, board, you last month had some discussion around possibly changing your meeting dates to either the first Thursday of the month or the fourth Thursday of the month. And we determined that we needed to revise policy BDA, my computer just cut out. Policy BDA in order to do that. And so what you have on your screen are two policy changes, proposed policy changes. And so this will be considered a first read for the revision of policy BDA. And it's only being revised with regard to changing the date of the meeting. And so depending upon which one you all vote on today, this will be the first read of that policy, and then your next meeting will be the second read, and then that will make the policy change complete. So option 1, I believe, is the first Thursday, and option 2 is the fourth Thursday.
Director McGee. Mr. President, I have a motion. Sure. I would move that we accept option 2, fourth Monday of the month.
Thursday?
Fourth Thursday of the month, excuse me.
Is there any,
I second.
we got a second. Is there any discussion on this? No discussion.
There's discussion.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yes.
I can't hear you.
Yes.
Instead of 6:30, should it be 5:30?
The regular meeting, we're talking about the regular meeting. So you may start the closed session before or after the regular, or on a separate day. Is there any more discussion? All right. Let's have. Yeah, option 2. All right. And moved and seconded. If we go with option 2, the fourth Thursday of each month. Did Director Graves want to say something?
No, did you say, is a consensus of fourth
Yes.
Thursday? Okay, all right.
Okay. Is there any objection to the fourth Thursday?
That's fine. No.
Seeing nor hearing no objection, it's approved that we'll take option 2, the fourth Thursday, by consensus. All right.
President, is this to be brought back for
The second reading, yes.
Okay, just confirm.
We're down at 8.5. Carla, that's also you. Committee structure.
Sorry, give me a second, my computer's rebooting it. So I'll put out.
So we have it on the screen. We put that policy committee structure on the screen.
Okay, you all should have had the opportunity to review the new standing committee structure that's being asked that you approve this evening. I can go through it quickly if that's your pleasure, or if you've had the opportunity to review it, I can entertain questions. What's your preference?
I would like you to go through it.
Okay, so the first page of it, the board voted for 4 standing committees: Finance Committee, Facilities Committee, Curriculum Instruction and Accountability Committee, and Policy Committee. On that first page, you have the chairs and the members of those standing committees. On the second page, kind of identifies some structure around how the committee process is going to work. The first outlines the purpose of the Board of Education committees is to first and foremost serve the board's needs. And then there's a reference to policy BCE, which is the board committee policy that indicates that the board can appoint standing committees. However, no individual member or group comprised of less than the full membership of the board shall exercise the powers of the full board. So in other words, While we have committees, it's the board that ultimately makes the decisions as a whole. The committees can make, will serve the purpose of addressing issues that are provided to it. But ultimately, the board is who has the power to legislate. The board committee responsibilities include the committee's responsibility is to be provided by the board and/or the board president. The committee's responsibility is to make recommendations to the whole board based upon careful study, examination, and discussion. And the committee's responsibility is to further examine and study topics that are of importance to the whole board and not make decisions on topics or issues that have not first been discussed by the whole board or assigned by the president. So in other words, in order for items to get to the board, they're going to either be recommended by the full board or assigned by the board president to committee. Again, we've got the 4 standing committees. And then that next section outlines the purpose of those committees. I won't read that to you all, but provides the basic purpose for each committee. The next section I will go through, standing committee appointments and membership. The board president appoints 3 board members to each standing committee, and the board president will designate the committee chairperson. A quorum of the committee is going to be 2 members, and each standing committee shall appoint a secretary to record minutes and to send those minutes to the district's custodian of records. Minutes must include information on attendance and voting. All members of the standing committees shall have equal voice and vote in discussion and decision. Members of the executive leadership team, at the direction of the superintendent, may present information to the committees. Executive leadership team members are not members of the committee and shall not vote on issues. And at the discretion of the board, committees may receive public comments. So that's a change from the last, for those that have been on the board for the last couple of years, from the last committee process, where members of the executive leadership team were actual members of the committee, but didn't have votes. So now, members of the ELT will not be members of the committee. The committee is just going to be comprised of board members, and members of the ELT may be asked to present on specific topics at the superintendent's request. Meeting dates and location is the next section, and it basically just says that the committees will meet monthly. The general time frame will be 2 hours. Again, minutes will be sent to the custodian record. The whole board will indicate to each standing committee when updates and reports are made to the board. It's not required that there be a monthly update from each standing committee unless it's desired by the whole board. And a calendar of the meeting dates, times, and locations of each standing committee will be posted on the district's website. The process for placement of items on the board committee agenda. So there's 2 ways items will get on a committee agenda. First, an item that's agreed upon by the president and the superintendent for placement on the board agenda of the regular monthly meeting, pursuant to policy BDDB, may be assigned by the board president to a standing committee for review and recommendation. So let me break that down. Right now, pursuant to board policy BDDB, your agenda is set by the superintendent and the board president. And so this allows for the board president, any one of those items that's set on that agenda can be first sent to committee at the president's discretion. That's one way items can get to the committee agenda. The second way is if the whole board votes and selects to send something to committee. So the chairs won't be setting agendas for their meetings. Their meetings will be, the agendas will either be set by the board as a whole, in open session, or, will be assigned by the president, based upon information that's already gonna be on an agenda. And so the last section is individual board member requests for placement of items on board committee agendas. So individual board members may not ask the standing committees to address topics that have not been approved by the whole board or the board president. And individual board members' concerns that he or she wishes to be addressed within the committee should first be presented to the president. If the president agrees that the topic is appropriate to be addressed by the committee, the topic may be added to the committee's responsibility and to future agendas. So I know that is a lot. Are there any questions that I might be able to answer for you?
Yes, this is Director Grace. I have a question. When you were talking about the time frame, did you say 2 hours or up to? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Ms. Grace.
Okay.
What it says is that the general time frame for standing committees will be 2 hours. So that's flexible. I mean, obviously you don't have to meet for 2 hours, but the thought is that, you know, you're not going to have meetings that go on all evening. And so it's just trying to set some parameter around there. It's not saying that it has to be 2 hours, and it's not saying that it's going to get cut off at exactly 2 hours, but it's just giving some parameters around the time. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Has there been meeting dates set, dates and times set for these committees?
The chairs will set the meeting dates once we approve that this will be the committee structure.
Okay. So we have to approve the committee structure.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. President, Director, I would move to approve the committee structure for the standing committees. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the policy on committee structures. We will take a roll call vote on this.
And just for clarification, Mr. President, it's not a policy, so it's just the committee structure.
Guidelines.
Director Kendrick? Aye. Director Watry?
Aye.
Director Graves? Director Graves?
Hi, can you hear me?
Thank you. Director?
Okay.
Aye.
Director Coleman?
Aye.
Director Carter?
Aye.
And Director Townsend?
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. So nothing under consent. There's no items under future board or agenda items. So I would move that we go, I would ask somebody move that we go back in the closed session.
President, I would ask that we recess to close session to conclude business, adjourn open session.
Oh, Lord.
You okay with Ms. Graves? I can't hear you.
And Mr. Watry, if you wouldn't mind providing statutory reference for that.
Oh, sure. I just want to make sure she was okay. Let's say, closed session 610.021, 13. right. Oh, 9. 9, 2, and 12, excuse me. And 13. All right, all those.
All right. Is there any discussion? Is there any disagreement? All right, the motion's moved, the motion is approved by consensus. Going back into closed session.
Have a good night, everybody.
I just need to go into the system.